Sairam students, let's begin with today's session of class 8 political science. Children, we are going to begin with a new chapter today, that is chapter number 6, understanding our criminal justice system. See, last chapter you have learnt about the judiciary, right? The structure of courts as well as the role of the judiciary. Now in this chapter you are going to understand about how the criminal justice system works. Now before starting with the chapter, let's just go through the content of the chapter here. First you are going to see the introduction of this chapter. Then you are going to learn about what is the role of the police in investigating a crime. Then you will be learning about FIR, that is First Information Report. Then what is the role of the public prosecutor? What is the role of the judge? And what is a fair trial? So these are all the topics that we are going to cover in this chapter. Now let's begin with the introduction. Children, when we see someone violating the law, right? What immediately the thing comes to our mind? We immediately think of informing the police. You might have seen either in real life or even in the movies also, you all have seen all these things. Okay, police officers, they are filing reports and they are arresting persons, correct? This is what practically you have seen in your life. Because of the role played by the police in arresting person, we often get confused in that way and think that it is the police who decide whether a person is guilty or not. This, however, is not at all true. Actually, practically, if we'll talk, see, this is what we have seen and we get confused in that way. That police is the person who arrests, police is the person who decides whether the person is accused guilty or not, right? But after a person is arrested, it is a court of law, okay, not the police, but it is a court of law that decides whether the accused person is guilty or not. Now, what is the meaning of accused here? Accused in the context of this chapter, this refers to the person who is tried by a court for a crime, who has been arrested for some crime, okay. Then according to the constitution, every individual charged of a crime has to be given a fair trial. What is that fair trial? Now you are going to understand the meaning of this further. Now this questions that comes to our mind related to this chapter is, do you know what it means to get a fair trial? Okay, you will be learning about all these things. Have you heard of an FIR? We have learned, see, just now you saw, like I gave you that topic, you are going to learn about the FIR, that is First Information Report. Or do you know who is a public prosecutor? So in this chapter, children, we will use a fictional case of theft to try and highlight the process as well as the role of different individuals in the criminal justice system. So most cases go through a process that is similar to the one we will be discussing in our fictional case here. You will be learning about that case related to the theft here. Therefore, understanding these processes as well as the role that different persons should play within the criminal justice system is crucial, so that if ever any occasion arises, you should know the procedure, like how the criminal justice system works, right? So you will be understanding that by one of the case. You will be learning that case here now. Now here the case has been given, of the date has been given as 18706. So children, this story has been given in your textbook also. The same is there in your textbook. See, in the first, at their apartment in Mumbai, Mrs. Shinde, she is getting dressed and she has been frantically searching for her gold chain for over an hour. Okay, then what she's thinking, I'm sure it was in this drawer. Where could it be? She is searching for her gold chain. And whereas Mr. Shinde, he was calling, hurry up, we are going to be late for the wedding. Then this is what Mrs. Shinde is saying, I can't find my gold chain. It's not in the drawer. suspect that Shanti might have stolen it. She always spends a long time dusting my room. Now, who is this Shanti? Let's see that. Shanti Hiram has been working in the house for the past 3 years. She is a servant there in the house. So now she is called Shanti. Shanti, have you begun to steal now? And that too my gold chain. Bring your trunk. I want to search it. We have called the police. So if you have the chain, return it now. This is what Mrs. Shinde she asked Shanti. Then what did Shanti reply? Madam, I haven't stolen it. Then Mr. Shinde, he searches the Shanti's trunk and he finds an envelope with rupees 10,000 in it. He screams at Shanti saying that this is the money she's got from selling the chain. But then what did Shanti answer there when they blamed Mr. and Mrs. Shinde, when they blamed that Shanti has stolen and they started screaming at her? Then what did she say? Sir, my brother and I have been saving this money over the last 1 year. We want to buy a bull when we go to our village. Madam, I am innocent. This is what she is pleading to her. Now what happened after that? Mr. Shinde, what he did? Mr. Shinde has come to the police station. Then what did he do? I have come to file an FIR. FIR means, children, you know very well, that is first information report. There has been a theft in my house. My maid Shanti has stolen my wife's necklace. Then what did he say? In the police station? Yes, okay. Then Sub-Inspector Rao, he records Mr. Shinde's FIR. Then the next, what happens? Mr. Shinde returns with Sub-Inspector Rao. Okay. Then now what he says? I will now write the statements that Mr. and Mrs. Shinde make about this theft. Let me seal the envelope that has the money and take it with me as an evidence. I am arresting Shanti and taking her to the police station. Then what did Shanti say? Please don't let him take me. I have not stolen the chain. This is my hard-earned money. Again, she is saying the same thing. This is my hard-earned money. Don't take it. Okay. Now, the next, that is on 19th of July in the year 2006. What happened? And Sushil, Shanti's brother, he arrives and he pleads with Mr. Rao to release, Sub-Inspector Mr. Rao to release Shanti. Then what did he say? She has been arrested for the theft of a gold chain. You can go to the court and get a bail order. Then what did Sushil reply here? But where will I get the money to hire a lawyer? And who will stand as surety for her? You have taken all of our savings and sealed it. So he is very helpless in that way. Sushil now he is asking all these questions to Sub-Inspector Mr. Rao. Then Sub-Inspector Rao forcibly keeps Sushil in the police station for 2 days. Then Sushil is abused and beaten by Sub-Inspector Rao and other police constables. Then they try and make him confess that he and his sister Shanti had a gang of domestic servants that have stolen jewelry from other homes. There have been other complaints of theft of jewelry from Shinde's neighborhood. As Sushil keeps repeating that he is an innocent factory worker, the police let him go after 2 days. Now children, this case started on 18th of July, right? Now the date here you can see is 23rd of August. Although the court granted bail to Shanti after a month, she was unable to get anyone to stand surety for her for rupees 20,000. She therefore continued to be in jail. She is very traumatized. She is worried about what will happen during the trial. Now, this is what Shanti is thinking in the jail because she doesn't have the enough money to go for the bail. What will happen to me? I haven't done anything wrong, and yet I am behind bars just because Madam suspects me. And the money that we have been saving, will I ever get it back? She is worried about that hard earned money also because police has taken that in their custody. Okay, that envelope has been sealed by them. Then on 14th of September, what happens there? The police files a charge sheet in the magistrate's court. The court gives a copy of the charge sheet, including the statements of witnesses to Shanti. So Shanti tells the court that she has no lawyer to defend her against this false case of theft. She is not able to afford any of the lawyers, so she said this to in the court. So what the magistrate did? The magistrate appoints the advocate Kamla Roy as Shanti's defense lawyer at the government's expense. See why this case has been given to you to make you understand. See, if a person is not able to hire a lawyer, then the magistrate has to give the advocate to defend that person. The lawyer will be given to them at the government's expense. So according to Article 22 of the Constitution, every person has a fundamental right to be defended by a lawyer. So according to Article 39A of the Constitution, places a duty upon the state to provide a lawyer to any citizen who is unable to engage one due to poverty or the other disability. So this is what you have seen, like according to Article 22 of the Constitution, every person has that fundamental right to be defended by a lawyer. Okay, in the case if they are not able to hire a lawyer, on the government's expense, the lawyer will be provided to that person, to any citizen who is unable to engage due to the poverty or any other disability may be arising at that situation. Then what happened after that? Now advocate Kamla Roy, she is going to be with Shanti. So she meets Shanti in the court. Now what is going on there? What did she ask her? Here are my case papers. I have been falsely accused of stealing my employer's gold chain. Okay, now let's see what is happening. This is what Sushil is saying. They found rupees 10,000 in Shanti's trunk and said that this was the money she got from stealing the chain. But that is money that we have been saving up together. Then on 11th of December, the court frames a charge of theft of Mrs. Shinde's gold chain and possession of money of rupees 10,000 got from selling stolen property against Shanti. Okay, now the court case begins. I plead not guilty and I claim trial. This is what Shanti is saying. The trial before the magistrate begins now. So on 8th of March, the public prosecutor appears in the case on behalf of the state. He presents Mrs. and Mr. Shinde as a key witness. Now that started here. So tell me, Mrs. Shinde, how did the gold chain go missing? Then what happened? I had kept my chain in the drawer. Shanti stole it. No other outsider except Shanti goes into my room. So Mr. Shinde searched her trunk in front of me and we were shocked to find rupees 10,000 in an envelope. So Shanti got this money from selling my gold chain. She is a thief. This is what Mrs. Shinde, she is telling about Shanti. Now next, Advocate Roy cross-examines the prosecution witness Mrs. Shinde. Now The advocate of Shanti, that is, she is also going to cross-examine Mrs. Shinde. So she asked her, so what you are basically saying is that you did not see Shanti steal the chain. This is what that advocate Roy, she asked Mrs. Shinde, okay. She said, nor did you recover the chain on Shanti, right? Also, in the past 3 years that she has worked for you, nothing has been stolen from the house. You were also regularly paying her rupees 1000 as salary each month. This is what Advocate Roy, she asked Mrs. Shinde. So on 20th of April, Advocate Roy examines Sushil and his employer as defense witnesses. Through their testimonies, she is able to show that the rupees 10,000 found in Shanti's trunk could well be the earnings of Shanti and Sushil. Now on 14th of May, as the trial is nearing completion, Sushil learns that Inspector Sharma has busted a gang of young men who have been stealing jewelry from the Shinde's neighborhood. So some of Mrs. Shinde's son's friends are part of this gang, and Mrs. Shinde's chain has been found on them. So Sushil tells Advocate Roy about this, because as soon as he got this information, immediately he passed on that information to the Advocate Roy. So Advocate Roy now calls Inspector Sharma as a defense witness. And what she is saying, Inspector Sharma, can you show and tell us what you have found? So what did he say? Here is the chain that has been identified by Mrs. Shinde as hers. We busted a gang of boys who had stolen the chain. These boys have admitted that they stole the chain. Now the judge hears the testimony on 15th of May of all the witnesses. After the testimony of Inspector Sharma, Advocate Roy argues before the judge that it has now been established that Shanti is innocent and should be acquitted. So now Shanti, you are hereby acquitted of the charge of theft. This is what the judge is saying. The police will hand over to you the rupees 10,000 that they had sealed from your envelope. In my written judgment, I have made it a point to highlight Sub-Inspector Rao's role in conducting such a shoddy investigation that made you spend time in jail. So now this incident, children, you can see the main key players in the criminal justice system we could see here were the police, the public prosecutor, the defense lawyer, and the judge. We will be learning about the roles of each and every, that is police, public prosecutor, defense lawyer, and the judge in the next session. So children, till then just go through this case, try to understand what had happened and the main key players involved in this case. So children, in the next session we will be continuing with this, we will be learning about the key players in detail. Okay, till then take care and see you in the next session, children.